Welcome to Woke House Videos. So one of the things that we haven't talked about yet that is pretty intricate to Buddhism is meditation. So Buddha said that every one of us is mentally ill, and that probably comes as no surprise to any of us. Buddha said there are two types of illness. There's physical illness and there's mental illness. He said there are people that can go a year, 2 years, 3 years, even 100 years or more without showing any symptoms of physical illness. But he said, oh monks, very few is there anyone that can go more than a couple of minutes without mental illness. And he was talking about suffering, agitation, daydreaming, anger, restlessness, boredom, all these things that go through our minds on any given time is basically a form of mental illness. And I'm sure he saw this really clearly after his awakening. He could see our neurosis. If you ever been around somebody who's really upset, but you personally don't think that it was that big a deal, like you don't see why they're so excited about this situation, so worried about it, so anxious about this situation because it's really doesn't seem to be that big a deal to you. You kind of you stand apart and you're like, wow, this person is really upset for really very little reason. So I'm sure people see us at the same time. I'm sure that I've approached people about various problems or situations and they thought, wow, Kyle is nuts. There's no reason to even worry about that, or why would he even think anything like that, So people see my neurosis, I see other people's neurosis. And Buddha, as an awakened being, he probably saw everybody that he came in contact with, he saw their neurosis. And he could probably look back on his own life and see his neurosis until his awakening. So his whole 45-year career of teaching the Dharma was to end this neurosis, was to cure. It was like the antidote for mental illness. And we all have mental illness, according to the Buddha. So the antidote was his teachings and also his meditation instruction. Now for me, the only meditation that I really know anything about is shamatha, because I was personally instructed by my Lama Tuku Soi Dechen Rinpoche. That was the only meditation. That and Tonglen. I did Tonglen for several years, and he also instructed me in that. But on any given time that I have a chance to sit quietly for a few moments, I enter into the shamatha meditation, and that is simple breathing. I'm here now, I'm present, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in and breathing out. When thoughts arise, which they will and they do, you label it as thinking, and then you return your attention or your awareness back to your breath. Now, I found a way to hack that. I hacked meditation. Don't tell my Lama, don't tell anybody in Buddhism, because they'll probably say this is wrong. But what I have found helpful is when those thoughts arise, I visualize a computer screen in my mind, and on the computer screen is a delete button. And I use the cursor to click the delete button. So now I'm doing this every single day, all day long. Not only when I'm in a seated meditation, but when I'm walking the dogs, or I'm making lunch, I'm making a cup of tea, whatever I'm doing. If I start daydreaming about the future, or I start thinking about some insignificant thing from the past, or any type of thought that is wasted energy, I use the cursor in my mind to find the delete button, and I click it. And I can actually hear the click, click, and I can hear the swoosh, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh of those thoughts, those daydreams, those fears, those anxieties. I was talking about one of the videos. I was walking around for like 5 minutes out in the country, and in my mind, I wasn't even there. I was having pancakes with a sister-in-law or something like that. That was like totally ridiculous. There was no reason to even waste time and energy on some, but that's how the mind works. Sometimes I'll think of a song will come on, and then I'll think about the singer, then I'll think about where I first heard the song, and that'll remind me of an ex-girlfriend, and I'll think of that ex-girlfriend, then it'll remind me of the hometown I was living in, and before long, 20 minutes have gone by, and I haven't been here now. I haven't been in the present moment. So what I found is, when that first thought arises, before I get carried away with it, click, 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 delete, 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 swoosh, 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 and back to the present moment. So that's the way I do shamatha meditation. I'll probably do a video on Tonglen too, because I did that for a long time and it really helped me. Taking in the suffering of other people, transforming it into healing light, and then breathing out that healing light into the world. But that's a whole nother topic. All right. Thank you, Woke House Videos. Namaste.